child is born after her parents have had 5 miscarriages before she came along. She was called the miracle baby. As the miracle child grew up, she became a kind, sweet, pretty, and a smart person. The miracle baby had dreams and aspirations just like any other teenager. But all those dreams were soon going to turn into a horrific nightmare. She was about to become a victim to a dreadful killing, where she was killed multiple times in the heart. Exactly 39 years after her death, police took a man into custody after matching his DNA to blood found at the crime scene. It was an arrest that reopened the 40-year-old cold case, which was now finally solved. 18-year-old high school student Michelle Martenko belonged from her hometown of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Founded in 1858 and coeducational from its start, Iowa State became the nation's first designated land-grant institution. When the Iowa legislature accepted the provisions of the 1862 Morrill Act on September 11, 1862, making Iowa the first state in the nation to do so. Iowa State is known worldwide for its student-centered culture, and Michelle was a student who was an integral part of this culture. Michelle loved to dress up and style her blonde hair like Farrah Fawcett. Her family remembered her as being kind, sweet, funny, pretty, and smart. She sang in the school choir and wanted to study interior design at university. Her mom, Janet, had 5 miscarriages before Michelle was born. Michelle was born when Janet was 44 and she was known as the miracle baby. Diagnosed with scoliosis when she was just 12, Michelle had to wear a brace for 2 years to straighten her spine. Once the brace came off, she started getting a lot of attention from boys. One of those boys was Andy Seidel. Michelle and Andy dated for 2 years before they broke up. It was Michelle who wanted to end the relationship. She later dated another boy. It's late afternoon in the Calabar town of Queensland's picturesque scenic rim region, and a cool fall breeze softly sweeps through hundreds of fresh sunflowers. Vanessa Fowler, a mother of 2, visits to remember her beloved little sister. Vanessa says it was her favorite flower. She was a great lady in every aspect. She was strong, resilient, and passionate. The tragic murder of Allison Baden-Clay, her baby sister. What happened to her? Let us go into the investigation. Brisbane is the 3rd most populous city in Australia and is located in Queensland. It's known for the river that runs through it. Despite its location beside a river, the town constructed an urban beach that is the size of 5 Olympic swimming pools. To preserve the street's beach, it was the place where the story of a woman's murder happened. It was among the most high-profile homicide cases Queensland has ever seen. The tale of the Baden-Clay family from Brisbane was first shown on Australian television in 2012. On April 20th, 2012, Friday, Gerard Baden-Clay called authorities at about 7:12 a.m. to report his 43-year-old wife, Allison, missing. He said that Allison had gone for a walk in their wealthy Brookfield neighborhood early in the morning. According to Gerard, she did this frequently. She did not, however, come for breakfast that day. Told Allison's parents the same thing. The police started looking for the missing person right away. First, they questioned their neighbors if they had seen anything or remembered seeing either between 8:30 p.m. Thursday and 8 a.m. on Friday. A Holden Captiva and Toyota Prado were the vehicles. A search involving hundreds of volunteers, along with the police, began immediately. An extensive investigation, including aircraft and police on horseback, was conducted across the rough terrain. In addition, they looked in the D. Aguilar National Park's neighboring mountain forest. Firefighters also searched closed mine shafts. All of these attempts were organized by Sergeant Sharky Lang. According to Gerard, on April 23rd, police set up a mannequin in the Baden-Clay front yard wearing the exact clothing Allison was last seen wearing. Allison was eventually discovered by a kayaker, not by the cops. On April 30th, the kayaker was near Anstead on Colo Creek. Allison was found at 11 a.m. on the muddy stream banks and resting on her side. Her arms were stretched out and her decomposition was advanced. Her blue shirt was pulled over her head, giving the impression that she had been dragged. Dental records were used to verify Allison's identification. According to the autopsy, Allison would have left significant gouge wounds on the intruder's face since some remains were under nails. Her family and friends were beyond devastated upon hearing the news. Allison was a pure soul. She was a quiet and composed woman. On July 1st, 1968, Allison June Dickey was born. She was the second daughter of Priscilla and Jeff Dickey's 3 children. Allison was raised in Red Bank, a working-class area. She began her lifelong love of ballet at the age of 4, and her biggest dream was to start her own ballet studio. Allison won the Miss Brisbane beauty pageant at 25 in 1994 and was around 5 feet 6 inches. She was also an impressive polyglot with Japanese, Dutch, English, French, German, and Swedish being among her languages. Her friends had always considered her to be lucky and could not have imagined such disastrous things to happen to this Wonder Woman. She was an ambitious woman who was on her way to accomplishing her dreams, but unfortunately fate stopped her. The family was beyond shattered and couldn't figure out who could have done it since Allison has no enemies. They didn't know how to convey the news to the 3 little souls waiting for their mommy to come back. Allison was the head of human resources at Flight Center Airport when she met Gerard Baden-Clay. He was based at their Tombau office. On August 23, 1997, they married. Gerard Baden-Clay was born in Bournemouth, England. He moved to Australia when he was 10 years old with his parents and 2 younger siblings. He was the great-grandson of Robert Baden-Powell, the founder of the Boy Scouts of America. Gerard is around 6 feet tall, with a medium body and short brown hair. The couple moved back to England after their marriage, but returned to Australia in 1999. Gerard and Allison were both employed with Century 21 real estate company in 2004 and had 3 lovely young daughters. Gerard Baden-Clay became the managing director of Century 21 real estate, after which he finally partnered with 2 others, with Gerard becoming in charge of their real estate company's finances. Toni McHugh was a client of Gerard's real estate firm in 2007. She was a married mother and ended up ending her 17-year-long marriage. A buddy of hers assisted her in obtaining employment with Remax Real Estate Company. This guy had been Gerard's business partner, and it was through him that he had met Toni. Toni worked hard and eventually became a special agent there. Authorities interviewed several people throughout the inquiry, including Toni, Gerard, and his business partners. They started putting the puzzle pieces together one by one. According to investigators, Allison's insurance was worth $800,000 to $950,000. Allison's estate was also handed to her parents. Her life insurance plans were included in this, which also ordered that her 2 insurance plans were ordered to be kept in trust. Investigators had also found that someone was working on collecting Allison's life insurance while her body was being autopsied. It was Gerard, and there they found some evident marks on his face, which were expected to be made by Allison. But these were just assumptions. There was not enough evidence to prove him as the murderer. Where the Crown or prosecution said he sought to cash in on his wife's life insurance policy to pay off his debts. According to a forensic accountant, Gerard owed roughly $300,000 to various relatives and friends while he barely had $70,000 in his bank account. Toni McHugh was brought into the scene. Toni McHugh had said that Gerard phoned her after his wife vanished and ordered her to be quiet. She also said that he did not have the financial means to divorce her. These shocking revelations meant that Gerard and Toni were having an affair with one another. Gerard had informed Toni that he intended to divorce his wife and marry her one day, and he often met Toni without his wedding band on. He confessed to Toni that he loved her and intended to divorce his wife for her, but he also stated multiple times that he couldn't leave Allison because she was depressed. Gerard had also set up a phony email account to contact Toni without Allison being aware during this time. According to Gerard, was monitoring his phone conversations and text messages and had even imposed a curfew on him. If Allison knew about the affair, she definitely would have been surprised because the pair was in the middle of marriage counseling and had no intention of splitting. 3 days before her abduction, the couple had attended a marriage therapy session. Gerard Baden-Clay liked to present himself as a devout middle-class spouse and parent. He was concerned about his social position and how others perceived him. The truth, however, was completely different. Of course, Gerard had rekindled his romance with Toni McHugh. Gerard didn't appear to be working on his marriage, and he frequently publicly humiliated Allison. Gerard and Tony would be openly romantic toward one another at several work events they went together. He was also in debt to several friends and business acquaintances. Gerard admitted to his business partners that they were having financial problems at that point, which had surprised them because they had been having a great year and were unsure about where all of their money had gone. The business needed financial assistance, and all three partners agreed that any money leaving the company had to be signed. Gerard was no longer allowed to be the only one in charge of the capital. With Gerard Bade and Clay directly facing his partners, this barely lasted a few weeks. He didn't want to have to ask for their autographs constantly, and he repeatedly expressed his dissatisfaction with their lack of faith in him. Besides these incidences, Allison's diaries were introduced as evidence when the trial began on June 10, 2014. According to the journals, jurors heard Allison's views on her marriage and hardships and how she tried to make her marriage work despite Gerard's treachery. Allison found out about the affair 3.5 years later. Tony was sacked from Gerard's Century 21 business in October 2011, putting an end to the romance. According to the prosecutor, Gerard murdered Allison for financial gain. On his behalf, Gerard testified. His side of the story was that he lied about everything he said in the past, but that everything he claimed at the trial was proper. Gerard acknowledged Tony's 4-year affair during his trial. He also admitted having previous relationships. However, none of them mattered because they were irrelevant to him. The jury didn't believe Gerard, and on July 15th, he was found guilty and condemned to life in jail with the prospect of release after 15 years. Gerard's defense attorney sought an appeal in August 2015 based on a new premise. They were now claiming that Gerard had killed Allison accidentally during an altercation. He became scared and attempted to conceal the murder. On December 8th of that year, Gerard was successful in his appeal.